Hello and welcome to this exclusive interview with former UN Chief in Afghanistan, Mr. Eide. Mr. Eide served as the UN Chief in Afghanistan from March 2008 till early 2010. Let me begin by asking you, what was your biggest achievement during the 2 years you served in Afghanistan?
So we managed to influence the military with regard to the issue of civilian casualties, which is tremendously important in the Afghan context, of course. And then I think also on the question of reconciliation, that when I arrived in Kabul 2 years ago, March, April 2008, there was no consensus in the international community about this. Today I believe we're very close to a consensus. I always believed that an engagement policy is necessary, that you cannot solve this by military means primarily.
I think, Ms. Eide, you were the first one in 2008 who started talking about reconciliation, and then we saw in the follow-up in the London conference talking about reintegration in a big way and a reintegration trust being established in what the critics say was an attempt to bribe and buy off the Taliban.
Yeah, I don't think you can buy people, not many at least. I think to have financial resources available is important. But it's not the main instrument. Reintegration by financial means won't work alone. You need, at the basis, you need a reconciliation process that is political in its nature. That's why I also said that this reintegration fund, yes, it may be useful, but it's not a game changer in itself. People are recruited to the insurgency and to the Taliban for very different reasons than financial ones or employment, as some say. I believe that, in fact, the reintegration fund alone could be counterproductive.
Do you think that reintegration fund can further go and re-strengthen the insurgency?
Let's hope, and I believe that the Afghan government and the international community is wise enough in the way it designs the project, and in the way that financial resources are being deployed, are being used to avoid that. So there I must say, I trust that those who will be responsible can do it in a way that can bring us together rather than the opposite.
Not many countries are coming forward to contribute in that. Is that a reason that perhaps the Norwegian government, you being a Norwegian diplomat itself, is also not contributing to this fund?
Many countries are not contributing because the details have not been hammered out yet. What we saw in London was a decision to establish a trust fund. And after the London conference, the modalities, the details, the structures, who will do it, who will lead, how will money be dispersed, via what channels, for what purpose, all that has to be sorted out.
But who will be part of this political reconciliation?
Well, that's certainly up to the Afghan government mainly to decide. I firmly believe that the Afghan government has to have the ownership of such a process.
Do you think that President Hamid Karzai is getting that kind of respect which he deserves when he talks about an all-inclusive political process in which Taliban also are included, and which does not rule out talks with Mullah Omar? But once the same question is put to the US authorities, they say, except Mullah Omar, they are ready to talk to anyone else.
I think there were useful talks in Washington about this. What the detailed discussions were, I don't know. But I do understand that they have come much closer in the way they look at this. And ultimately, I believe it's the president and government and people of a sovereign country, Afghanistan, that is to decide how to proceed and with whom. And let me add also, if you want relevant results, you need to speak to relevant people. That is, for me, a fundamental part of the whole process.
So in that respect, the main Taliban leadership led by Mullah Omar is an important stakeholder.
Well, I'm saying that the Taliban leadership, I'm not talking about individuals, but the Taliban leadership are important in this respect, and in the political process, of course it is.
In the past, there have been some reports of you being in contact with Taliban. When was this first contact established?
I don't think it's right to be going into details. That there were contacts of various natures at various levels, there's no doubt. And it confirmed that a political process is necessary, but also that it is going to be very complicated. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to be all of a sudden people sitting around a table. And that's not how it is in such sensitive issues. But we have to pursue it in a concerted way.